Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Northern Michigan head football coach Shane Richardson. How's it going?
Going well, Casey. Thanks for having me on today.
All right. So just talk. I mean, it's been less than 2 months since you've taken this job. How are things going up there?
Well, they're going extremely well. It's a little bit of a whirlwind. We got here fairly late in the recruiting process, and we're kind of right in the thick of it. We were a 3-man staff right away, and we had about a month to work with to be able to really recruit, hang on to, find new prospects, and then work towards a signing day that was on February the 1st. And so we were able to get a 12-man class with some other guys that we added along with it, and feel really good about those guys. We're in the process right now of rounding out the staff, and that's been, just the process to make sure that we're finding the right guys and the right fits. And, on another level, you also got to make sure that you're in tune with the team. You've got to be able to come in and set the culture, set the expectations. And, there's a lot to do with diving into each one of those guys as well. So there's been plenty enough to keep us busy here. And, but it's been great. People have been so receptive, so welcoming, and it's been a really good situation.
Okay. So now that you can talk about this class, just kind of talk about the guys that are going to be coming here.
Yeah. So, I would start off with the quarterback of the group. We did sign Aiden Horde, whose father is a former Hall of Famer, quarterback himself here. And, just can't say enough about his character, his intangibles, and everything that he brings to the table. He can run, he can throw, he's smart, comes from a great family, a lot of really good things to build on with him. So really excited about him. I think going through the offense, we've got KJ King coming in at receiver. He's from the Chicago area, and can't say enough about his leadership, how assertive he is in his personality. He's going to be a really, really good fit just for the dynamics that he's going to bring in the leadership category, and just how infectious his personality is. He's a very enthusiastic kid, and he's going to be really dynamic on the field too. And I'm excited to just work with him and watch him play and see what he can do when he gets here. We've got Noah Dober, running back. He's from the Detroit area, Dearborn, and going to be really good. Just an explosive guy who probably can move around a little bit and use him in different capacities. But really excited about him. He was really excited about NMU just the whole time throughout the recruiting process, and was fortunate enough to hang on to him and do a good job there with securing him up. Offensive line, Ryan Sussnar, he's from Illinois as well, and a guy who was actually committed before we got here, and saw us through the change and was able to just stick with us, and got to know him and his family. Comes from a great family, and just going to be a great addition to what we're doing there. And obviously you need more and more big, good bodies all the time. So he'll be a great addition to that group. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. We signed both a kicker punter and a punter kicker, both from Wisconsin, Owen Halverson and Kewen Large. Big legs, just very dialed in. Those guys, they're very unique in terms of their work ethic and just kind of the technical skills that they bring to the table. I think Kewen has an extremely big leg, and I think has a chance to come in and be able to compete right away. Obviously nothing's guaranteed, but definitely shows a lot of promise on film and what he's been able to do over the course of his high school career. Defensively, Joe Mueller, from Madison, defensive end. He's a very big frame, very big body, great personality, comes with a lot of good leadership and work ethic to him, and just really excited about what he can do to develop in that way. Jax Hertel, He's from Bigfoot High School down in southern Wisconsin there, and he's going to be a really good player for us. Very explosive linebacker, a kid who really, showed a lot of really good things on film, was recruited early, and he also stuck with us through the process. And can't say enough about how excited we are to get him up here and work with him. Grayson Shepard, he's from Lower Michigan, Whitehall area, and he's going to play defensive end for us. He played a lot of linebacker in high school. Did a really good job of playing multiple positions, and we think he can develop into a really good defensive end for us. He's going to be strong, and he's going to be quick, and he's going to just have a really good determination about him that I think will really contribute to our group and how we're building our culture in a good way. Adam Sala from Dearborn as well, and he's going to play defensive back for us, probably in the safety category. He's a long, rangy kid, can run, played quarterback in high school as well. I think, anytime you can recruit a quarterback and you think he can play another position is a really good thing, because, typically most high schools will put one of their best players at quarterback. And I think, just having the experience there, it gives you an extra perspective of kind of how to see things. And, I think he brings that to the table. Comes from a really good family, and, it was great to get to know them throughout the recruiting process as well. We added Zach Person, who is a mid-year transfer. He's from Kingsford, Michigan, and he's a wide receiver. And, he's already in the program working, and I think he's going to really bring a lot of good stuff. He's been a great fit, great personality, has really good work ethic, and he understands what the UP is all about, and has brought a lot of really positive attributes to what we're doing here the first month of team activities and things this semester. So, I'm not quite sure if I'm missing anybody.
I think you're missing Andrew Stewart.
Thank you, Andrew Stewart. Yeah, he was one of our guys in the last weekend. So Andrew is also a safety from Brighton, Michigan. And Andrew, really smart kid, played for a really good program in Brighton. And I think he brings a winning pedigree. It's a very technical DB, and I think he's gonna have a lot of range to him as well. And he's gonna come up here and compete. And I think he loved the place. He's actually spent a few different summers where he's been coming up to Marquette, and so he's familiar with this area. So it's a very good fit from that standpoint as well with Andrew.
Yeah, so, I think you got everybody.
Is that everybody? Sorry, Andrew. So
while you were talking, I pulled up the list. So
thank you, Casey. That's good.
No problem. So kind of talk about just obviously the recruiting class is set. What is obviously, and then putting a staff together is going to be now. Of course, what's it like to just go out and go talk to get assistants to come up here?
Yeah, it's in much the same way that we are recruiting student athletes, we're also vetting coaches. And I think it comes down to three things. It's number one, you have to understand just what you're getting yourself into in terms of Marquette, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan University, the uniqueness of this area, the culture, and just the environment, the climate. I mean, everything that comes along with living and being and functioning up here. It's off the beaten path, and you just have to understand everything that comes along with it. You have to embrace it. You have to appreciate it. And, it has to be a place where you can see yourself for the next how many ever years. As a student athlete, it's typically a 4 or 5 year career. As a coach, you don't know, but you'd like it to be for, semi long term, and just to, make sure that you're getting a lot of value out of them. And so trying to build the staff the right way with that. The second thing would be just to be able to fit into our culture and our program. And, it's a strong culture of just understanding, appreciating that, it's a special program. It's something special to be a part of. You want to appreciate that. You want to be thankful for that. You want to have guys that are, going to develop the total individual in terms of our student athletes. mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, just the whole entire individual. We want to push them to reach their full potential. And I think when it comes down to it, we want to compete. We want to be extremely competitive. We want to be determined. We want to make sure guys are gritty and tough. And I think that's what you have to be here at Northern Michigan. And we're going to do it with a positive and supporting environment, and a way that is energizing to the players, and we're going to coach that way. And so they've got to fit into just our culture of our program. And then the third thing, you got to be able to be competent in the game of football. You got to be able to coach and teach and understand what offense and defense and special teams need, and how important that is to winning games. You got to be able to, tutor them and teach them along the way of how to develop as a football player. So, those three things are kind of the top things we're looking for. There's about four other things, that we also have, but I'd say those are kind of the top three priorities at this stage in the game in terms of looking for our staff, and to be able to find guys that check those boxes. It's not easy, but when you find those guys, you feel like they definitely are going to be the right fits.
Yeah. So kind of talk about just understanding just this area of football. I mean, it's a state where a lot of good teams are in the conference that you're in. So how exciting is it to get going for the season, and how are you just getting used to this area?
Yeah, well, I think having played in this conference, I understand the competition. I understand the level of football that it is. It's an extremely high level of Division II football, and obviously our conference has kicked out the past two national championship teams. It's been one school, and we understand, and it's something where I think you understand the competition. You understand, you've got a rivalry that's 99 miles up the road, and they're all very formidable opponents week in and week out on the schedule. And you appreciate it, you respect it. And yet, I think at the end of the day, a big part of what we have to do too is we have to focus a lot on who Northern Michigan is and who we are and who we want to become and how we want to do things. And I think that's really important for our team to understand that. And, we've got to just establish our own expectations and how we want to go out and prepare and focus and work and play the game. And, of course, there's, really good football in the GLIAC, and we know that. And we just have to continue to focus on ourselves and getting better and better all the time, because we know the competition will be out there. And, week in and week out, we're going to be playing really, really good teams. And so we understand that, and we understand what comes along with it. And it's a big responsibility that we have.
Did you ever think when you played here so many years ago, did you ever think you would come back?
I didn't know. My head coach at the time actually made a statement one time when I was a player that I would be the head coach here at Northern Michigan one day. I think I just probably laughed it off, but I never had forgotten that. And he was right. And, I think just with the timing of how things worked out for me to come back, I mean, just such a blessing, such a, just something that, probably did not really ever see coming. And it just worked out, and it just has worked out in a great way so far. Obviously we're only a month into this, and people have been extremely welcoming and seeing some old faces, familiar faces, and it's just an extremely comfortable environment. And the excitement, it kind of builds every day, and you wake up and you're just excited, and you're extremely just comfortable and motivated to come to work every day and to try to accomplish what you're trying to do, and the goals that we've set out in front of us. And it's home. I spent 6 years here, and it's a place that I really take a lot of pride in, and that I love being in. And so we get to live in one of the most beautiful places in that country, and it's fascinating. It's got great people and a lot of good things, a lot of great shops and coffee shops and breweries and restaurants and the whole bit, and it makes it just a very unique and special place.
Yeah. And of course, coming into after the season that this team has had, what do you feel like the first thing that you kind of need to do once the summer and the fall gets back going again? What do you feel like you guys need to do coming out of the gate, starting to start hot this season?
Yeah, I think we just got to make sure that we understand how to operate with a new set of expectations. And I think that's one of the first things that we've been working on here thus far throughout our winter program. We've been having very consistent team meetings. Obviously, we're training and working out right now. Yeah, guys are doing a great job with it. They're taking on that program and learning how to attack it and approach it the right way. Obviously, all the information that we've been going through as we meet as a team, they're understanding what leadership and accountability and discipline and our togetherness process looks like. And, that's all really good. We've got to establish our culture first and foremost, and then it continues to, train the mentality of it. And then, once you get to Saturdays in the fall, you got to execute and you got to go out there, you got to apply the things that we are training right now and will continue to train throughout spring and the summer. And you got to go out and be able to win games. And, that's ideally the formula will kind of continue to add up to each other to create and produce good results. And so, that's what we're hoping for. We've got to continue to add good pieces to the puzzle here, and we'll continue to recruit. And the guys that we add will be very good fits for us, and we'll want to make sure that they understand the program just like the guys that are in it right now are going through.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Shane Richardson, thank you so much for coming on. And congrats on being the once again back at your alma mater, coaching again at Northern Michigan. We'll talk to you maybe before the season starts.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Casey.